IVM.
Hey everybody, welcome to another week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. As we go into God knows what week of the lockdown, we've been trying to make sure that we get as much content out to you as possible. We had some interesting episodes in the last week. Cyrus Says we had Angad Singh Ranyal on it. That was a fun episode to listen to. On the Filter Coffee podcast, we had Taslima Nasleen and Arunav Sinha on that. That was another great conversation. Karthik Srinivasan joined Varun on Advertising is Dead. And guys, look for Pratik Oswal on Paisa Vaisa podcast with Anupam Gupta. That was another great episode. I'd also like to let people know that the show that we're doing with Mr. Ashish Vidyarthi, Begin the Journey, is now going to be releasing 3 times a week. So do check that out. I'm sure you'll enjoy that. And let's get started with your show.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative.
Okay, it's called Cock and Bull. We're coming almost live from our different houses, almost alive from our different houses. Let me just rephrase that. But listen, if you're a politician, you're caught between a rock and a hard place. I understand it's not easy. How do you manage this? A huge country like India or even China for that matter, it's not an enviable position. Having said that, I have just one question. Did some research. There's always been a Prime Minister's Fund with 20,000-30,000 crores in it already. Why don't we have a second Prime Minister's Fund? Why don't we first use the first Prime Minister's Fund? While we build up a little bit of the second Prime Minister's Fund. My point is, the money's there. So, apparently there's no real accountability for the Chief Minister's Funds and Prime Minister's Funds and Mayor's Funds and even building funds sometimes. So, I am just a little skeptical. And I do not mean to criticize anyone purely out of fear. But I'm just asking, we have a fund. So, why start a second fund when we're in an emergency? Because there cannot be a big emergency in this. So you already have a fund in place. So why aren't you having fun with a fund, in a sense? It's called Cock and Bull in a second.
Beta, did you know 79% of all scientists in NASA are Indian only?
देखो, इंडिया में टैक्स सिर्फ मिडिल क्लास भरती है. Everyone is just enjoying free यार.
आजकल के youngsters are only interested in partying and enjoying. उनको देश की पड़ी ही नहीं है.
बेटा तुम बस शादी कर लो, उसके बाद तो you can enjoy life like anything.
I will tell you what this country needs. This country needs 15 years of dictatorship. That is the only way to become a superpower. See the Chinese, how much they've progressed.
सुनो, तुमने ये WhatsApp forward देखा?
So what's common between all of these statements?
They're all absolutely rubbish.
Fake WhatsApp forwards that spread like wildfire.
And statements that defy any logic.
We are here to debunk them all.
Way of family WhatsApp groups, worst nightmare. Where what happens when you read a book.
Basically, we are just a bunch of guys who want to cut through the bullshit of everyone saying this, how it won't be true.
So that the next time someone confidently squeezes out some WhatsApp or Twitter BS, you can look them dead in the eye and go, Uncle, please sit.
So join me, Joel,
and me, Tushar,
every Mondays for a fresh new episode of Uncle, Please Sit.
Guys, please answer my question. I'm really not trying to be one of those guys who just has to go against the tide. Everybody loves the PM and the country and this and that. But I've got a slightly mathematical brain, and it irritates me when I see figures and I'm thinking we already have so much money. It should be immediately used. Why you build up the corpus? In any other case, I would say no. Build up the corpus, save the money. That's the Indian way of thinking. It's the middle class philosophy of India. But right now you're in an emergency. You need to, buy all kinds of the costs are never ending. Let's face it. All right, that's a big problem. So why don't we use the first fund? What are we waiting for? A second emergency with the first fund and the first emergency with the second fund? I don't know.
No, I don't know if the first fund's money is not to be utilized over here. But I think the second fund was created with the idea of a dedicated fund for corona relief. Right? That's my assumption here.
So I just want a little accountability and transparency as we ask of our cricket selectors who are always pillared and thrown into the fire all the time. So I want some transparency here saying that what are we doing with that first fund? That's all I'm saying. Because somebody in my building explained to me that there's so much money in the corpus already there. So I just as a purely accounts moment, and we Indians all 80-90% of us, see how I turn to figures immediately, have mathematical brains. So we would love to know vaguely, not in detail, just what's happening with that first fund.
Well, so the first fund we will know, right? Because the first fund
Amit, you're defending the government based on the fact that you're in the cabinet? Or
No. I'm the second fund is the one which you should be worried about knowing what's going on with it. The first fund is to be.
I can't even come to that problem till I understand what happened to the first fund.
No, but see, the thing is, the first
Somebody's
fund
making
is
fun of us.
the first fund at least is going to be audited. The first fund will be audited by the CAG, right? The second fund is not to be audited by the CAG. And so that is the question. What is happening over there is the thing. See, eventually we'll know what happened to the money in the first fund.
Or could the second fund become the first fund? In which case you don't have to audit it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
they
so
can switch funds.
Well, you could get the bait and switch happen on this for sure. And I mean, that would suck.
Yes. Yeah. We've lost Silvery, by the way. He's not a mathematical type. He's a comedian. The rare breeds who doesn't like this sort of linear thinking. They're state of the absurd. Okay, don't want to talk too much about this, but I'm thinking an emergency, just like various NGOs of the world, they can allow you to really turn money left, right, and center with no questions asked. Because of the greater good, because we have to deal with it right now, because of the situation that warrants it, because there's no question of sitting and counting anything now, let's do it. Is that the philosophy that we're on? We're on the floor, we're in ground zero, in the middle of the action. So I'm thinking this is the best time to just fudge things, honestly.
I don't think that we're doing that, though, right? I mean, no, sorry.
I'm not saying we're doing that. I'm not saying we're doing that.
No. I don't think we're doing the good part. I think we are doing the bad. I think we are fudging the stuff, right? I think, but the...
So we're not even getting the good is what you're saying. So you're taking it one above me now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't know that we are, right? I mean, like, it's hard to have a tremendous amount of faith in stuff which is not transparent, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
With this diktat. See, I understand the diktat. The diktat is, don't talk to us about what's happening. Let's collect money and we'll figure it out because we're in an emergency. But having said that, it's so much money, and when people like Akshay Kumar throw 5 crores into it, and various other business houses are sort of, pressurized or made to or will do it willingly, I don't know. At the end of the day, I would like to know where my money is going. Even if I send 5,000 rupees, I want to know where my money is going. Did it help one villager somewhere in Jharkhand reach his house in time from whatever trouble they had in Mumbai? I don't know.
No, but that's the question, right? That's the main operative question, which we really don't have an answer to right now. We just don't know.
And just for the record, I want to put it out there. I'll speak slowly for once. All this philosophy and thinking and cross-questioning of the government is done by Silvery and Antariksh and not me and Amit. But
exclusively, yes, correct.
We have spoken for him and taken the blame. But let's just be transparent. Because transparency is our show.
Correct. I have to take my CA activism somewhere during this time. Correct.
I really struggle with the fact that I really think, without being a stereotype, the Indian mind is probably the most mathematically gifted mind in the world. If you look at spellings and maths, no one can really beat us. We can beat them in their own language and spelling if we start learning it, if we just have that ability. So I don't know why nobody questions accounts. And it starts from governments, it goes all the way down to your companies, to your production. If I speak for myself, we never ask for the production budget actually amongst ourselves to see what exactly is going on. Suddenly, of course, if you're an MNC, they'll come and audit it and then pay the shit related.
Correct, right.
But we don't do that. And it's amazing. Because otherwise, I love my cricket scores. I love my tennis scores. I love my boxing scores. Look, Amit is full of statistics. Every time he tells you a story about something, whether it's basketball or the world coming to an end, statistics are there. You play cards. So maths is very much part of cards. Antariksh, in your own way, I'm sure you've got a mathematical brain.
Apparently, I just found out Antariksh is also a poker player.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Gambling. The last refuge of the lockouts. All right, enough said about this subject. I'm just going to leave it out there. If anybody's listening to this podcast and wants to tell us about where the money is going, how it's going, and whether it's right or wrong, please go ahead.
I think some of the bigger problems are actually about what is happening from the perspective of where is economic stimulus, right? I mean, the kinds of economic stimulus that we've seen so far. I saw a graph yesterday, which was really telling. It was basically plotting what percentage of GDP has been kind of used towards economic stimulus, and compared that to what devastation we're going to see in terms of reduction of GDP over the course of the year. And if you looked at that, India was in the worst place. We are going to see the biggest destruction of our annual GDP growth. And at the same time, we are also deploying the least amount of economic stimulus as a percentage of our GDP. The highest was Japan, where Japan is seeing relatively low amounts of economic destabilization with really high stimulus put into it, right?
And how long was their lockdown?
I don't know the answer to that question.
I think it was shorter than ours for sure. I don't think it was this long.
I'm not sure about that.
And also, there are softer lockdowns. So, you can do some sort of work. You can, essential services are much more than our essential services.
Yeah.
We have that fascist stick thing dangling in front of you. So, you actually shut down the country.
Well, so they shut the APMC markets, no? Again,
exactly.
in Vashi.
Exactly.
I just heard that yesterday that basically the APMC markets. So for the first news came out that they're shut it. Then the second news came out that they're going to open it moderately.
For 2 hours or something.
Yeah, and then I saw something else saying that another notification. See, this is the problem. We don't have a clear sense of where information should be coming from.
So what you're saying is, hand in hand with the lockout, we have to continue looking at how to keep the economic fire burning in a sense, and the economy somewhat above water, at least. We obviously no sense of growth, but above water. And you're worried that it's going to go completely into the sea, sink, and we're last out of the big countries of the world right now.
I think so. I think that there's a definite danger over there, right? I think the other part of it is like, we don't. I was reading this really interesting article in the New Yorker a couple of days ago, right? It was about the response to the pandemic that you saw in Seattle and New York City. Right, basically Washington State and New York State. Both of them had similar, it started at the same time. Seattle actually was initially more severe than New York was, right?
But it started.
So initially, the first hotspot in the U.S. was Washington State, Seattle area, so basically, the differences, the different approaches they took in terms of how to deal with this, right? And I thought it was very telling that the Seattle approach was one which was focused around scientists being the people who are giving you the information, not politicians giving you the information. Scientists being the people who are leading the response around how you're going to do certain things, when lockdown is to open, when lockdown is not to happen. In New York, you read about this stuff, the mayor was fighting about closing schools for the longest time, and then didn't want to shut bars. Like, there are cases throughout the country. Like, I think it was like 3 days before the lockdown, he was like, you guys should go out and support businesses, go to your local bars, that kind of tweet and stuff like that, right? So, I mean, make up your mind, Amit. Do you want us to work or not work? You just said that we're not doing enough for the economy, and now you're attacking the poor mayor and the governor of New York. I mean, what the hell? They were trying to balance it. They were trying to. So I'm always looking for middle paths. My marriage is a middle path. I'm trying to get some other lady to come in now. It's like that. No, I agree. I agree for sure. You definitely need to strike a middle path, right? But the thing is, the middle path has to be driven by science, not politics.
So the man with the orange hair is not a scientist? The one who... The man with the... Disinfecting...
Well, of course he is. He's at the cutting edge of things.
Yeah.
Nobody knows more about the shit than he does, right? I mean,
it's called NASA by Trump.
No, he is absolutely at the forefront of this stuff, right? I mean, who else knew about sunlight under the skin?
There you go.
Nobody knew about this.
Woke up in the morning, he gave the exact temperature and the length of the rays. But coming back to our country, because charity begins at home, I apologize for the worst pun ever. I think they have got a plan. The government can always say one thing. Whatever happens, if you're saying that the GDP is going to go down south, if you're going to say that out of the 10 big countries, and now we compete only with the 10 big countries. Let's not talk about how we're doing vis-a-vis Syria. Okay, right. It's South Korea, it's Japan, it's China.
Yeah, it is a big one. Yeah.
UK, New Zealand. So against them, if we're looking the worst, that's not a good sign. But our people can still say one thing at the end of this epidemic, when things are a little better, they turn around and say, are we better than Pakistan or not? Because that's what they're trying to achieve.
Well, I think that is...
that may not happen.
You know what? I mean, given what's going on in Bihar and UP right now, I mean, Bihar is scary right now, right? I mean, the doubling rate in Bihar, they said is going to be 3 days or something like that.
Correct. And also, it seems to have a different time. There's a time lapse between something's happening in different states. You think nothing's happening.
Well, you had the migrant labor go back, right? And I mean, I'm sure that's how it traveled back.
It's that simple?
Well, I mean, at some level it is. When you...
so what do we do with the migrant labor?
Right. There's no answer. There's no easy answer here, right? I mean, you can't because I mean, right now you had massive protests in Surat yesterday. Migrant labor wants to go back, right? So there's no easy answer. We
have to create another Bangladesh now, a no man's land where all the sick people could go. I mean, off the record, I'm told China did something like that because 80,000 cases disappeared, and they were able to with a magic wand make them disappear. I wonder how, but I mean, it boggles the mind.
It does boggle the mind.
How they disappeared, never to be seen again.
Yeah. No, it is China, man. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, right? And there's a lot of racist nonsense going on around China just generally. Right? There's a lot of racist nonsense. But at the same time, dude...
They're going to have to copy it, brother. It's the way it is.
They did what they did. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they hit this shit, right? China...
But if they exterminated people, are you saying that's the final...
Well, did they exterminate people? I
don't know.
I hope they didn't go that far.
No.
We don't know.
Yeah, but that seems unlikely, right?
I hope not. I'm actually quite a fan of China.
That seems unlikely. I think that so here's the thing, right? There's a lot of bullshit about China, but at the same time, they do bear fault of
the Chinese are listening. I can't hear you.
Okay. That might be the case. We're on Zoom, right? So Zoom is going through China. You've heard about that, right?
There you go. But now you're back. Because we praised China, we're back again. Everything's good.
But it's
May I interrupt you? I want to ask you one thing because I hate to sound like Arnav, and we'll talk about him in a minute. But we have to also, we keep pointing fingers at various governments, not just India, and saying, look at what they're doing. Look at Seattle vis-a-vis New York sucks, whatever. So what would you do? This is really difficult. What would you do, honestly? I'll give you the migrant situation in Mumbai. Forget Surat and all. Just in Mumbai, what would you have done if you found these 1,000+ guys sitting at the train station, no real fault of their own? What do you do with them?
I have no idea. There isn't an answer here, right? I mean, like, ideally, what you want to do is you want to put everybody into, like, some sort of, you got to house them. You got to feed them. You got to kind of this, right? Because if you send them to other parts of the country, then you are exposing other parts of the country to... Bombay is the hotspot. Right. Today, there's no denying this, that in India, Mumbai is we're number one. Right. I think like 1/6 or 1/5 of all cases are in Mumbai.
Navi Mumbai is also rising, is on the rise. So Navi Mumbai mayor just wrote a letter to Uddhav Thackeray saying to seal Mumbai because a lot of the workers in Navi Mumbai travel to Mumbai, get infected and go back to Navi Mumbai, have been spreading the infection there.
Jeez, that's insane, right? Yeah, so I mean, like Maharashtra as a state is nearly 1/3 of the infections. Bombay is 1/5 of the infections.
Yeah.
Right? So if you add in Bombay, Pune, Thane, Nasik, that's almost all of it, right? So I mean, like, this is where it is there. So do you want to make sure that it doesn't spread from here into other parts of the country? And how do you do that without, like, telling people don't go? Yeah. That's what they did in Wuhan, right? I mean, like, you saw that video when they reopened Wuhan, how much, how desperate people were to just, like, get in their cars and drive the second the roads were open.
Yeah.
The reason for that was because they didn't let people travel.
Right. But they have slightly more austere practices. I don't know. We're pretty austere, actually, but I'm thinking, I don't know. I can't make up my mind whether the lockout is good or whether the lockout is just too much. For me, it's like being drunk, I wake up and I think of one thing and a little later I feel like another thing, like that.
So I've got to see, I mean, like, again, we know that 1/3 of cases are in Maharashtra, right? We know that, right? So that means that most of the rest, and then after Maharashtra, your next most popular places are Gujarat, Delhi, MP, Rajasthan.
But you're saying Bihar and Madhya Pradesh were climbing.
Bihar is growing rapidly, right? So I mean, like, there's a little worry over there. But at the same, so I mean, like, so they're in the early stages, but they're growing rapidly. But I think that what you have to do post May 3rd is you have to start opening stuff up in places which are not severely affected.
Like where you and I live.
Right.
We're okay except for the beginning of Walkeshwar and one end of Nepensi Road. So we're okay, actually.
In this area, we've been relatively lucky, I think. Like,
you could bring the computer. You could bring me old porn magazines of yours. I mean, not that I appreciate that, but I know there's no space in your house. And so I
have to.
In my house.
Yes.
Yeah,
I can do a transfer, yes, for sure.
If I could just invite my friend Anup, who's my neighbor for 25 years. He's just in the next building. He's 15 feet away. But I can't even call him up for lunch. Just to have someone else to talk to rather than mummy pass the curry, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've lost interest in family. Is it mean to say I can't bear the family after some time? Family can't bear me.
Dude, I'm literally, it's like, you're all in your own rooms. Like, it's like, take your corners. But lucky enough that we have our own rooms to be able to do that, right? But it's like, stay in your corner. Because otherwise, you drive each other nuts, But
I was thinking of walking around naked just to see the reactions I get. I said, there'll be some law against some society meeting will be called or whatever.
But I was talking to my brother yesterday, right? And he was telling me that so he's in Virginia, right? So Washington D.C. suburbs. It's bad, but it's not so bad. But because of the fact that they don't live in apartment buildings, they're not meeting friends, as in, like, they're not all getting together. But what they'll do is, like,
they're not suffocated.
They're not suffocated. So, like, what will happen is, like, Samir and his wife will meet another couple friend, and they will all sit far away from each other in the lawn, right? So they're still maintaining the distance, but at least they're able to meet people every now and then, right? Whereas over here, man, I mean, like one of the things which I think is interesting is that in the US, one of the government recommendations is that you should go out and get fresh air. Don't stay in the house all day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Over here, we're not allowed.
So here's a question. If you're a US citizen living in India, like my friend Ravi, can he step out then in India because he's listening to the American government?
No, he cannot. He's living, but he's living. He is living,
okay,
but
guys,
he's living.
before we go into a break, there's something I want to share with you. Can I?
Yes.
A very important thing, because people keep asking, what do we do? How do we kill time? How do we spend time? So apparently there's a podcast out on Red FM, if I may mention, called Hooked on Books, which has me and this Saurabh, the RJ, who's stuck in Delhi, chatting about my book. My book, Netagiri, which of course they're relaunching after, I don't know, 2014, I suppose. So, just anybody's interested, my book, lots of spelling mistakes, so you can sit there and just correct them if you're wondering. It's also not a very big book. I've never used any word over 5 letters. Okay, so it's pretty simple and lots of sex, lots of action, lots of death, the kind of things that I enjoy. So please, Netagiri, it's for you while you're suffering. Silvery, please read it. It's for your age group.
Will do. Yeah.
You don't even remember the name, Salah.
Netagiri.
Very good. Yeah. Okay, shall we take a break?
Let's
and then come back and chat lots more?
Yes.
All right. Okay, break on Cock and Bull, and we'll be back.
Entertainment is like food for the brain. It's a window to culture and a great way to understand the world around us. The internet has changed what it means to be an entertainer, creating new storytellers with millions of fans. It has spawned a new breed, the story sellers, those behind the scenes creating the business for this ecosystem. They work with brands, platforms and channels who are keen to capitalize on an audience hungrier than ever for more stories. I'm Vineet Kanabar, and I have a ringside view to how stories are told and sold. On my show, I bring you creators, artists, executives and marketers for a freewheeling conversation around the business of entertainment. Tune in to Storytellers and Story Sellers for personal stories, analysis and criticism every Thursdays as I talk to the brightest minds telling or selling great stories today.
And we are back, Cock and Bull, C&B, still troopers that we are, 3 of us, 3 soldiers, 3 musketeers, the 3 amigos, Amar Akbar Anthony, John Jani Janardhan, Ahmed Silvery Cyrus, to provide, not pleasure because we can't really do that, but some sort of point of view. For us, the podcast, I mean, I was going through a podcast site, I can't remember the damn site's name, but it was like how to make a podcast. It was in 20 easy steps. I'll tell you, in about 3 minutes I put it on. So, so I don't think
I'm not surprised.
Right away. But I suppose our dream of having intellectual, yet funny, yet interesting, yet layered conversation one day will be up there.
Well, we try, we make our attempts. Well,
out of 500 episodes, I think at least 3 have gone that way.
3 have gone well. Yeah, I'm
so
sure
bad.
There have been a few. There have been a few that have gone. That's true.
All right, listen, enough doom and gloom. I mean, one nice story was the Arnab Goswami story. You guys following that?
I've been following it a bit. I don't know if it's a nice story.
Okay, so a couple of bikers apparently, according to him, attacked him and abused him. And then when they were caught by the police and his bodyguards or whatever, they were basically said that Sonia Gandhi sent them like 15 minutes ago. And anyway, so he spent the day on Republic TV while every other channel was covering 22,000 death, 44,000 infection, 69,000 maimed, country coming to a standstill, America going berserk, vaccine being... They just covered him being grilled by police and how unjust that was. Yeah. So I thought, at least we had one channel gone off track finally because their boss was in the lockup of a government which is anti-BJP. You know what I'm saying? So all those layers coming together, wow, it was fun. And they kept him in for 9 hours. They grilled him for 9 hours.
Longer than that. I think it was longer than that.
Arnab was interviewed by Arnab. It just went on and on.
It was kind of excessive, wasn't it? 12 hours?
It just becomes theatre of the absurd, after some time. Yeah. The whole thing, whether he was actually attacked or not, or whether Sonia Gandhi actually planned it, sitting in a room. I mean, whatever. It all sounded a little absurd, the whole thing. The most absurd part was you're locking up police inside the station, wasting time with some stupid comments about 2 bikers who chased you or whatever for 9 hours. Yeah. On a time when every man, all hands on deck is...
No, but he wasn't called to the police station for that. He was called over his Palkar remarks, right?
Palkar remarks, but it all boils down to him attacking Sonia Gandhi.
It does.
The present government they politicized the whole thing, but it's all tied in one thing to another, right?
Well, of course, it is all.
That because of that, they sent someone to attack him, etc. It's all the same thing. Point being, he spent 9 hours inside,
which is
grilling.
It was insane, right? I mean, like, it was just absolutely. I was. And here's the problem, right? I mean, like, we mostly disagree with Arnab's point of view as a group. I would have to say that is probably the case, right? But what this is doing to an extent, right, is it is making it acceptable to call journalists and talk to them, or basically kind of just.
The clear politicizing of the situation. If it was somebody else, nobody would have called him and brought him in for pointing remarks. Some guy on the YouTube, on the YouTube, it sounded like my dad. Someone on the internet, making remarks. There's so many people trolling the present government or the Maharashtra government or whatever.
Right.
But so there's obviously an agenda. That's pretty clear. But I thought the best moment was the police, when they were questioning, kept using lines like, the police want to know. Tell me all. Tell me. You have the audacity to go against these people. The police want to know. Maharashtra wants to know. And so it must have been fun. It must have been fun for everyone.
Yeah, it seemed like when he was making the announcement, it seemed like he was doing one of those mafioso deals in a parking lot. Like someone will come out to him with like a disc, like, hey, I have like evidence against you.
Yeah. It was like a murder had just taken place.
Exactly.
Right? Because it was in a parking garage where they do hits, back in the old season. Yeah. But the most interesting part of all this is the reporters on Republic who switched off Corona. So Corona is gone. And at that moment, let's say 25 people died in Madhya Pradesh in the last couple of hours or whatever. Gone. No one's interested. They're telling us behind their masks, they are standing outside the police station where Arnab is holding his own against a lot of people who obviously have political agenda and have been told to attack him and interrogate him. And I'm like, really? I mean, you've got one serious issue going on. But they stayed with that story.
They did.
For most of the day.
I'm amazed that you watched Republic for most of the day, or at least kind of floated in and out enough to know what's going on.
I had to watch it. I had to watch it because it was escape. I'm saying I'm grateful. It was escape from all the negativity and the tragedy and all that's going on. After some time, you do get immune. So
right.
It's like a breath of fresh air. His little squabble with the cops and the politicians in charge of our state, etc., etc.
So are you saying you're hoping Arnab gets attacked again?
Well, it's just like a diversion, like it's like how we have in our films in the 90s. You also have everything planned, right? The item number has to be inserted, the comedy track has to be inserted. So we insert the Arnab track and then everybody just relaxes for a little while. And then you go back to the reality of, will I ever see my old life again? Which is so sad. So let's get back to we have an agenda we haven't even touched yet. This work we have worked so hard on.
So something interesting has been happening. A lot of videos are making the rounds on WhatsApp of cops making people coming out during the quarantine do utthak baithaks, like sit-ups.
So, may I speak about this?
Okay.
I have a huge problem with it. I've been watching a lot of these videos. And the squat is not an exercise we just done, I feel like doing a squat, so I'll do it. I need the guys to warm up properly, stretch properly.
You have a problem with the form.
The form is not good. All of them, the knees are going beyond the toes. Anybody in squat school will tell you the first rule of squatting is your knees stay behind the toes when you do a full squat. They never go ahead, otherwise your knees will break at some point. All right? Their backs also arch too much, and there's no weight on them, so there's no reason for that. The reason is poor calves. Now, these are the issues the police are not tackling. If they want to do the squats, if they catch me, I'm going to fight with them. I'm going to be like, you get my weights, I want to squat properly now. I'll do it for an hour. I'm going to squat, you must punish me, but I want a full hour of squatting. And I want a proper warm-up. I want to get into the zone. I want to hit the high notes. I mean, of course, in Punjab, they call it squat, which is my favorite moment in my life. The one day I was in Jalandhar doing something for MTV. I went to a gym after the end of the day, tried to, work out there. One guy comes and tells me, Cyrus, आप legs नहीं करते? आप squat नहीं मारते? Squat. I was like, oh, God. Silvery, what is wrong with your people? Squat. And the guy was really tough, He'll be squatting all his life, but don't say the word.
You actually, that's a very interesting point, because I guess that it's pretty soon people will start leaving their homes out on purpose just to be able to do exercise with other people. Like exercise together with other people.
Bar and some plates.
Yeah, exactly.
Policeman, pakro, okay. And I'm telling you, count. That's what a coach does normally, The cop will go, yak, don, tin, dar. Oh, it'll be fun. Amit, be careful, huh? You and Kunal should not be caught squatting.
Squatting, yes.
So have there been such videos around your area? Because there have been in mine, and Hiranandani, like multiple videos coming out of this.
Well, so I think we live in an area where it's unlikely that you would see that.
No, it did happen at Manindra end. Just before we come to Walkeshwar. Yeah.
Oh,
but this was 2-3 weeks ago. So all the
Interesting.
WhatsApps in our buildings and all were very happy to show the location. We were all like, our criminals. Yeah.
Interesting.
But they were of an economic class that is not owning flats in Walgeshwar, Mumbai.
Correct, right.
But probably working there.
Yeah.
In a sense, the two different worlds and two different rules and whatever. Not to, again, you'll just sound classist saying it, but you know what I mean.
No, but there's truth to it, right? I mean, like, honestly, man, I go out once a week, maybe once every 5 days or so, right? To, like, grocery runs or whatever.
Sounds like the periods. Once every 5 days, Amit ko mood mein aata hai.
No, but I talk to the cops, right? And I mean, like, they are phenomenally friendly and, like,
Mostly
they're helpful.
Yeah.
And, like, so I mean, like, and I think that it has to do, I mean, like, it is what it is, right? I mean, like, cops are not.
I think Malabar Hill beat, Walgeshwar beat is an easier beat, okay? If you're a cop, after some time, you always, you want the beats. Well, in the old days where they could get their little extra money, so a Malad or a Kolaba is preferred. And ours was the worst. Nobody wants to be here. There's no restaurants. There's no nothing for them to, do anything. And the complaints are basically, my husband pushed me. Nothing more than that really happens.
Right.
So they hated this beat. But now, in an emergency, you have less activity here, less work to do, and less likelihood of getting the infection.
Getting the infection. Because again,
imagine you're doing Dharavi beat or the Worli, that I call it tri-state area, but it's 3 rooms. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, honestly, if you go out, right, and you look at, like, we are in this area, it really is like, it's like social distancing. Nobody is close to each other. Everybody is like 10 feet away.
All that fucking snobs, Amit. They're all fucking snobs.
Yes, they are.
Silvery was telling us,
Yeah.
You said that you saw guys in your locality, as in you saw it live or you saw the video?
No, saw the video. But multiple videos in my locality of people
having to
stop
to watch them being punished. Are you punished also?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Hey, did you see
but the video was shot from a window. Like, you can clearly tell, you can see it from a top
But
view.
supposing you have a knee injury and you can't squat and they force you to squat, then can you sue the police?
You can try.
During this time, you can't, because police have absolute authority.
Disadvantage, they may have absolute authority, but you can mark it, record it, and go after them in July.
Yeah.
Why not?
So more than the squat thing, right? You see the video of, so there was a police officer in Chennai who basically found these 3 guys riding, like, back to back and without masks or anything. And then she kind of pushed them into a ambulance saying that I'm going to put you in with a corona.
Yeah. And they ran out of the other thing and all that. That was like that's a proper, we have done the same story.
Yeah.
The same story with a van and ambulance and everything. We've actually done it, except not with coronavirus, just with Maries being sick and all that.
Okay.
So, I think that was a mean one, huh?
That was mean. I thought that was mean too, man. Yeah,
but it made its point.
It did make its point, but I mean, like, man, that's just like, isn't that torture?
But Amit, if that happened to you, just take it. What would you do? Because it's like murder. So you put the person in, Zabardasti, shut the door for those few seconds. Just for a few seconds, the person's life would be just flashing.
Yeah, no, it is torture, isn't it? I mean, like, the sit-ups and stuff like that, I'm not happy about that. Corporal punishment by cops is not really good.
It's
but
rubbish.
This felt like really over the line, right? I mean, like, this felt really over the line.
And because that could be problematic for their families also. Once they go home, they spread to their families.
No, but they can't think that.
No, it wasn't somebody who actually had COVID. They were just scaring them.
You idiot.
Oh, okay. No, that's what I heard.
Then she's not a cop. She's a terrorist.
That's what I heard.
You can't actually make sure they get coronavirus.
Yeah.
No, bro, you go to Chennai.
And then she's not posting that on social media on, like, a highly produced video, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So it was definitely, it was just a scare, but I just felt like the scare was over the line.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Quiet place, Becca to serve.
Even the dog agrees. He's like, yeah, that's not cool, man. You can't do that.
Hello?
Cyrus just told his dog to shut up. Now PETA will come after us.
Cool.
So, I'll say it's not my dog, it's my mom. She makes these sounds sometimes.
All right.
Okay.
Should we go to the AMAs?
Can you address one story before we get to the AMAs?
Sure.
This is it's good news. Some countries like New Zealand and Australia have relaxed their lockdowns because they have successfully curbed coronavirus. Their lockdowns...
It's come down to that 3%
to single digits.
To single digits. Yeah.
Single digits for the last multiple days.
New Zealand's been like less than 6 cases for like days and days.
Yeah. So New Zealand is saying that we have beat it. That's their actual official statement.
May I just say, I have been to Australia, not New Zealand, but if you go to these countries, they're beautiful countries. Now, Australia is 23 million people in a landmass bigger than India's.
Yeah.
Okay, just do the maths on that. Mostly homogeneous society where everybody understands the law and 90% of the people have the same lifestyle. Absolutely the same lifestyle.
New Zealand has half the population of Bangalore.
Yeah, 5 million people or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. All right.
So, I mean, like, it is a different...
not to pull them down. If we were in the statistics were reversed, we'd be out of lockdown by now. I'm pretty sure.
It's a different geography. It's a different...
We have Asha Nagar where me and Amit live, which alone is like New Zealand. I mean, it's lakhs of people living there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so, and in a small area. 16 by 16 square feet, the whole drum. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
No. So I mean, like, it's great. I'm glad they're able to do it. I think the if you want to look at things to emulate, right? I mean, like, stories to admire and emulate. The ones to look at are Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Yeah.
Those
Hong
are
Kong quietly slipped under the radar. You're bang on. Hong Kong is fantastic and quietly slipped under the radar.
But if you want to look at, like, great examples of who have done this with the same kinds of problems we have, from a population density perspective, from a proximity to China perspective, like, honestly, how many people from China are traveling to New Zealand? How many people are traveling to New Zealand you know, I mean, like, that often, right? It's a big tourist hub and all that. I get that. But I mean, like, once you've shut down flights to it, it's not that...
you can't reach it. It took people 20,000 years to find it by boat.
It's so far. And it's so isolated. So New Zealand's different in that sense, right? But Hong Kong's been amazing. I read I just keep regurgitating all the stuff I read, right? So I read this interesting article on Vox, Vox.com. They were talking about what is the number one strategy they look at which has been effective? Central quarantining. The idea of, if you're sick, we will put you in a facility. You don't go back home.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
And that is what they've done in Hong Kong. That's what they've done in Taiwan.
But then again, it's one island state, no? So you have, logistically, it's perhaps possible. Now, you'll say that localize it and it's logistically possible. So you look at just one borough.
But where are they doing this? They're doing this in hotels and dorm rooms and stuff like that, which are empty.
So hence I called up the Maharashtra government and said, use NSCI. Don't worry about it. Use CCI, use all these other places. I who gave this suggestion to everyone.
Great idea.
And they have not called about the Padma Vibhushan. Forget the Padma Shri. I just want to hang it out there, this thought that maybe they should look at some of the heroes, the unsung heroes of this movement. But also I keep saying this, the citizens of these countries that you mentioned, New Zealand, Australia, Hong Kong, small state, they again have a sort of similar sort of culture, subculture, will listen, have a certain amount of discipline and follow a certain protocol. What I'm trying to say is not to put down New Zealand, Australia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, but they are similar sort of places in the sense that it's the same type of homogeneous people who live in the same subculture, follow rules, discipline, protocol, have the same lifestyles for the large part of it. We in India are different Indias. In just our little area where me and Amit live, there are about 10 Indias. Not so simple to get things done here. People don't follow, people don't understand. People are always looking for loopholes. That's our nature. Yeah. You know, when you break a red light, till today I have my 40 rupees in my sock, which they never take. They take the sock. They like the sock, never the money. But yeah, so I'm just saying you can't compare. India is really unique in that sense.
It's a different.
Why was I born here, Amit? Why?
It's definitely a different problem, but I think there are still lessons to be taken, right? And I think India has done that to an extent, right? If you are somebody who's tested positive to COVID, they are putting you in the hospital, whether you are sick or unsick or whatever that is, they are putting you into quarantine, right? So I mean, like, they are doing this to an extent.
I'll put it this way. I'm saying if I was Namo or Uddhav and I was given a choice whether I should govern Maharashtra, India or New Zealand, I would take New Zealand. New Zealand is a much simpler gig. That's what I'm saying. Not to put the New Zealand administrators down. She's been fantastic. I love the way she talks. I also am a little partial to women for some reason, but after Me Too, I don't go over the top and say all these things on air, not on live podcasts of any kind, because that's the most dangerous place to get implicated. But having said that, I have to say that I would take the gig New Zealand, Australia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, anytime over India. India is a tough place to govern.
So I think
this is why I don't stand for building elections. Because once you get into building elections, it's like a domino on and on and on. And next thing, you're the Prime Minister, and people are taking shots at you asking, where's the money from the Prime Minister's fund number one? No one answers this question.
Yeah. I don't think there would be. Let's go to the AMAs.
Okay.
Advertising is dead. Yep, you heard me right. Advertising is dead. We're all in the content business now. Let's not call it news, TV, radio, etc., etc. It's all content, and we're in the middle of this weirdly exciting phase where all the borders and lines that have been drawn over decades has been swept away by this lovely thing called the internet. We're a show where we don't dwell on just the stuff that is now, but rather the wider stuff about advertising, media, content, and the whole goddamn circus surrounding it. Tune in every Tuesday for our weekly unboxing of the mystery box we used to call advertising. I'm Varun Dugirala, co-founder and content chief at The Glitch, and this is my new podcast, Advertising is Dead.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
PMAs.
Okay, so last week we had some recommendation, a very long recommendation question from an Abhishek Vatsa. We'll get to that. But before that, I thought we'll address a very interesting question that has been sent in this week. From a person named Tanuj Bhambri. He says, hey team, I'm in a huge pickle. My wife is currently locked down with her male colleague and hasn't been home this month. I'm really scared that they're having sex. He says, now coming to the real problem. We use my wife's Netflix account at home and she hasn't paid this month's bill, so hence can't watch. I have no money I can't afford Netflix anyway. How do I watch all these shows you guys have been talking about? Can I get yours or Silvery's Netflix credentials, please?
God, I thought for a minute, can I get your wife? Strange guy. You think he's telling the truth? Because why? Unless in separate cities.
That's the only option I can think of.
That doesn't make sense. You would have been able to find your way back from, say, Dharavi to Sion or wherever.
It's got to be separate cities. That's the only thing. Man, that's hard.
Yeah. Also, if it's true, it does seem like he's just making a joke about it. In all honesty, it feels like he's just joking about it.
But in case it is true, it's not the worst thing that can happen. Because in case the marriage was going to pan out in the wrong direction, he can offload her quite easily now. It makes sense. He's got proper proof. The lockout will be it's changed. For many people, the post-lockout will be like your second innings, So you can change a lot of things. Family, occupation, what you're wearing, your outlook on life, all that. So it's good. It's a good start. So the second problem, Amit, you help him with.
Netflix, dude, you're out of luck, man. Or you can look at dubious sources and download stuff from them.
Yeah.
But there's the phone and YouTube. It's not the end of the world.
So there's a lot of free content. There's never been more free content available than there is today, right? And I mean, I feel like I watch probably, if I were to do a minute count, I would say probably maybe Amazon Prime first, YouTube second, Netflix third.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know what I watch because my hands are so knobbly. Whatever touches things and, on its own things happen. So mine is almost organic. It just sort of happens.
No. What will for him? I think he has to be inventive and go to places where you're not supposed to go to get the kinds of things you want to get.
Yeah,
that's the only option he has.
How can you say that as a podcast owner? You're sort of encouraging illegal means and streams.
I am not.
Which is not right.
No, most of our content is free anyway. So
exactly.
It's free now, but at some point we'll want to jump.
We will. No, but so here's the thing, right? I actually, you know what? You're right. You should pay for it, man. He should pay.
Yeah. Then you go wink into cameras. Fine, Amit. Also a video podcast. So this is what governments called double speak. You do it all the time. Yes, Garibo ko bachao. Wink. Right. All right. Next and last question.
Okay, last question. Firstly, there's a person whose birthday is today. Could we just wish him? His name is
yes.
Prashant Uttekar, and he says, "Please wish me on the 29th of April."
Prashant Uttekar's birthday.
Yeah, Prashant Uttekar.
Oh, Prashant Uttekar. Yeah. He's an old-time listener. He is. He's been to the office. I think he was on that. The episode where we had a bunch of people.
Episode.
Yeah, he was. I think he was on that. I've been in touch with. I've spoken to him as well.
Oh, he turns 38. He turns 38 today. So very
happy birthday, Prashant.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wish him happy birthday, Prashant. Happy birthday, Prashant. Happy birthday, dear Prashant. Happy birthday, Prashant.
I got another one too. Somebody else also sent me a message saying, "Can you
sing it again?"
One more birthday wish if I can. A person named Harsh Pandya. He says, "Hello, Cyrus, Silvery, and Amit." He spells Cyrus with a PSY instead of a CY.
Oh, nice.
Cyrus, Silvery, and Amit. He says, "So I have a birthday request that you, especially Cyrus, cannot refuse. I know how big a Sachin fan you are, and I have a request for the same. With his birthday coming up on the 24th, I am happy to announce that even my birthday is on the 24th. My only request is for you to wish Sachin and me together in the same sentence. Happy birthday to the living legend Sachin Ramesh.
Correct. So Harsh आणि Sachin मुलगा मी काय बोलतोस? Happy birthdays and may all your dreams come true.
Yeah.
Of course, Sachin I personally wish because we are really close. First thing I call him, he's like, bro, what up, yaar? And that's what up, and what up happens. But wow, it's a terrible thing to share your birthday with a very famous icon. What happens is because everybody sort of remembers your birthday when you don't want them to, A, and B, he's always going to have a bigger birthday bash than you. And it's also me, Sachin turns 48. And Harsh is like, what about me? I wouldn't like that. Yeah.
So Manik Nicholson is a regular listener. Hi, Amit.
Okay, Manik. It's a Parsi name.
Well, no, I'm not sure. It is...
Nicholson is a Parsi surname, Baba.
But M-A-N-E-C-K?
Yeah, M-A-N-E-C-K is a very, very, very common Parsi name.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So she is a doctor. So hi, Amit, huge fan of Cock and Bull. Is what I look forward to during this lockdown. It's my dad's birthday on the 30th. He's a doctor too. Could you please give him a shout out? Thanks and stay safe. So happy birthday to
Farida Nicholson. They might be from the same family. It's quite a big, famous family.
Yeah.
So we have to wish who? The dad.
The dad, yes. Even that guy, his name is not here, but Manik's dad. Even CCI guy was there. His name was Nicholson, right?
The ex-Keiko Nicholson. That's the family, same family.
Correct.
Manik is generally a man's name, but anyway, I'll go on with whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
So we have to wish happy birthday to Manik's dad, Mr. Nicholson, who probably turns, let's say, 37. Just keep it neutral because I have no idea how many years. And we have to say that if we could, we had the money, the budget, and the ability to send, we would have sent a gift as well. Amit, remember that once the lockdown is over, we never mention this kind of stuff.
Of course not. Okay? Never.
You can have your own birthday after that, boys. Happy birthday, Mr. Nicholson. Have a good one.
Cool.
Right.
Should we do the ranking really quick?
Yeah, cool. These rankings were sent in by Abhishek Vatsa. So last time we had finished the drama series. Okay. This time we have to get to his books, his comedy TV shows, his podcasts, and his audiobooks.
Let's do his comedy.
Yeah. Let's leave books for last.
Okay.
Yeah,
Books,
let's
we'll have to write down. We'll have to write down the books, have them next to us. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, cool.
Amit, off you go.
Yeah.
Okay, his comedy TV shows are number 1, Barry. Number 2, Derry Girls. Number 3, F is for Family. Number 4, Man Like Mobeen. And number 5, The Good Place.
So
I've seen Man Like Mobeen. I've seen Barry. And that's all I've seen.
I've seen Barry and I've seen Good Place.
I've seen Barry and I've seen one episode of F is for Family and I've seen The Good Place.
Okay.
So I guess nobody's seen Derry Girls, I guess.
No. So Silvery, you're the most experienced. You go for it first.
Okay, I'll say Good Place number 1, Barry number 2, and F is for Family number 3, and Derry Girls and Man Like Mobeen I haven't seen. So I'll just say Derry Girls and then Man Like Mobeen according to what I've heard about the two shows.
Well, okay, I'll talk about Man Like Mobeen because I've seen both the seasons, and the first season is awesome. It's fantastic, and he's really funny, and it's a bit like Citizen Khan because he's making fun of that. He's a man of Islamic descent, Pakistani descent, and all that. And lots of those jokes, reverse jokes. But the second season was terrible. It became very dark and more scary, gangsterish, and almost more Tarantino and less funny. So for whatever reason, so that was a bit of a disappointment for me. Barry was okay. It was okay. Not the greatest show I've ever seen, but not the worst either. And the other three I haven't seen. So Amit, the pressure's on you.
So Good Place number 1, definitely number 1. Barry is, as you said, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like I'm not like on bated breath for the next season of Barry.
But you finished watching it, so it's not bad. Otherwise, you would watch it at all.
Yeah, it's not
bad.
But
it doesn't leave you. Yeah, it doesn't leave you with that feeling of wow, the best comedy show of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but the Good Place is fantastic. You should see that. It's on Netflix.
So I would like to go to a Good Place right now.
But if you haven't seen it, you should see it. I actually really enjoyed it. It's really fun. It's by the people who made Parks and Rec. It's got Kristen Bell, Ted Danson. Really, really fun show.
Okay, done.
Yeah. So Abhishek Vatsa is tuning in every week. Okay, this week they'll get to this part of my recommendations. This week they'll get to this part of my recommendations.
Put him on the podcast. Let's put him on the podcast at some point. He deserves to be on.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's a wrap for us. Right. Week number 6 of lockdown. We'll be back because not ending anytime soon. The podcast may end, but the lockdown may not. So actually, we're going to carry on whatever happens. Amit is going to send me a better computer and hopefully with the better camera lens, and maybe I'll look like Parveen Babi once again. right? Possibly McMahon and what is that famous guy from Jojita Wo Sikandar? What's the actor's name?
From Jojita Wo Sikandar?
Amir Khan?
No, the other guy.
I don't. Amir's brother.
Mamik Singh.
I was right?
Yes, you
Yeah,
were.
Mamik.
Hey, bro, he was quite a big name for a little while. He was a big name
Yes,
for
he
a little
was.
while.
Yes, he was. I do remember.
In fact, Silvery was born during the filming of that movie, and he would have been called Marmik, but for an accidental last-minute change because of his dad's businesses going in a certain direction, he went for Silvery. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. Okay, you guys stay safe. Don't look out of the window for too long. Huh?
Cool.
All right.
Sure.
All right, cool.
Okay, see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter, on Cyrus Says In, or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Are you constantly seeking happiness? Wondering how to make the most of every day? How not to let your inhibitions stop you from achieving your goals? It's now time to get your A-game on. It's time to unlock your true potential. Tune in to the Empowering series with me, Zarina Poonawalla, to feel empowered in all genres of life. From behavioral skills to management skills. From health to relationships. From mental well-being to emotional well-being. And of course, your finances. I've got you covered. With these tips and tricks from me, Zarina, and true life stories from my amazing guests, you're bound to bring your purest to the table. Tune in to the Empowering series with Zarina Poonawalla every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do you wish you were smarter? Well, so do we. But the next best thing?
We could make you sound smarter.
And to help you with this endeavor, we are Simplified, a podcast that attempts to break down the complex world around you with a little knowledge, a lot of poor jokes, and a ton of random trivia.
Episodes out every Monday.
On the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
See ya!